What's up, guys? Coming at you again here with another episode of Tampa Bay Real Producers. This is the podcast made for real producers, by real producers, and of course with none other than real producers such as my man Jordan Myers. How you doing today, Jordan?
Doing great, Don. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing well.
Good.
I'm glad you could be here today. Yep. Welcome to the podcast. We're excited to dive in to your story.
As am I.
If you guys don't know Jordan, he is the owner of Ascend Realty. We've actually featured Jordan in a previous episode, or I'm sorry, a previous issue of Tampa Bay Real Producers, the magazine. I think it was a broker spotlight, if I remember correctly,
That's
that
right.
we did on you. I guess
I
that was,
appreciate.
what was that, a year ago already now? It was last year sometime.
We just had our year anniversary, so yeah.
There we go. Just a year ago. And I know we had an event that you guys were able to hang out at in South Tampa.
It was like our kickoff,
Yeah, no doubt. I met a lot of your team, I think, that night. And man, they're loyal to you, I can tell. Like they love being a part of your organization. That was one of the things I took away from that event.
Yeah.
It was cool to see the culture that you've built.
Yeah, loyalty is a big trait that we look for in the people around us.
Of course, no doubt. So we're going to dive into how you started building some of that culture in just a second. But usually we like to get started, Jordan, with just a little bit about your background so that people get to know you a little bit. Sure. Did you grow up in Tampa? Did you not? What brought you to Tampa, if not? And how did you end up getting started in real estate?
I grew up in Illinois, came down, aspirations of playing baseball. So I went to USF, played for like a week, and then ended up joining a fraternity, have a way better time. And
I can relate to that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And, it was kind of unique because I met everyone in the fraternity that had just started, and they were all from Tampa, where everybody else wasn't from Tampa.
Yep.
So these guys, showed me really Tampa, made it home.
Yep.
And then I just never left. So I got my Series 7 stockbroker license. I worked for Morgan Stanley in this building, so it's kind of coming full circle.
Oh, wow. How about that?
About 16, 17 years ago.
Nice.
But so...
Little did you know you'd be here talking about on our podcast about your real estate business.
That's right. So,
16 years later.
Yeah, and that was like my dream job, right? Morgan Stanley, financial advisor, and then I lost everything in the Great Recession, like everybody else did, at that time. And
2008, 9.
Yeah. And so I was like, well, can I mope around kind of like everybody else, or just kind of go after it? So I took some other management jobs in the meantime, and then was going to get back into finance, but I'd been burnt so bad that and then a Remax broker approached me, and he's like, I want you to come sell for me. I think you can make $150,000 in 2 years. I'm like, okay, that sounds nice.
Okay.
So
we happen to be in a Remax office right now as well. So how about that?
Yeah. Total full circle. Right?
It is full circle.
Yeah, it just, and I knew nothing about real estate. I didn't even know what granite was. I'm being facetious, but I knew nothing about it. And then talked and made.
How did you meet the broker?
I was actually working for T-Mobile at the time.
Okay.
And so. Right. So I'm like, I have my Series 7 license, and I'm working at T-Mobile. Mm-hmm. Right. And so I was like the manager there. So, we had just opened a store in Palm Harbor. And, again, I went out into the community, and I want to meet people. I got to get to the store, let people know about the store and everything. And then I started getting involved in chambers. And I really learned that it was right when phones were switching from flip phone to smartphone.
Yep.
And nobody knew how to use them. So I just went out and offered to all the chambers in the area of how to free class, how to utilize the mobile technology, the new cell phones in your business. And then free classes, we had 80 people deep in all these classes. And then they started doing business with me because I was the expert in it.
Yeah.
And then we were number 4 in the nation, number 1 in the South region in our business accounts. We're beating stores like Philadelphia, Miami.
Wow.
And they had me on a national sales call. They're like, how you doing it? I'm like, I'm going to the Chamber of Commerce. And he's like, yeah, that doesn't work. I'm like, it doesn't work if you're just going out handing out your card.
Right.
But if you truly come from contribution, you try to help people start to know, trust you, how you do business.
Yep.
And then built that there. So then I had sold the Remax broker every device you could think of. He was right next to us, so he's like, "Come sell for me." So we did, and then I just turned those relationships over to real estate.
Yeah.
But then you had to teach, my database and how to think of me as now a realtor instead of the cell phone guy. That's the last thing you want to be thought of.
Yeah. No.
But so
it's fascinating to know that you had this successful career in the stock world, right? And then I imagine the humility that you had to go through and that challenge that, you know, to end up just accepting a job selling phones, right, at T-Mobile. It's funny when you see these stories of people that really had to face those moments and how they responded back from that. I think we learn a lot about who we are as a person and our character in those type of moments. Yeah, no doubt.
So, and I almost went back. So I'm like, if I'm going to do that, I want to get my CFP. There was a 5-year program at USF I was going to go through. I was like, do I really want to do that again? And I just took the leap of faith to real estate, and I mean, it could not have been a better fit as far as like the speed of the transaction kind of thing. You know, finance was a little slower.
Yeah.
So, but then I could use, especially, you know, I kind of got into commercial right away, which a lot of agents don't, but kind of using that finance background and kind of just looking at it as a whole for what people are trying to accomplish, doing an analysis of what they're, everyone's kind of in real estate in some way to make some money. Even on your primary residence, you want to make money on it. So let's just looking at it as a sound financial investment. Of course, you know, you can't predict the future in anything, but, you know, just maybe reducing some of that risk.
So what year did you get licensed?
2012.
Okay. And so that was in a RE/MAX office at the time, and you were working under someone's team for a while?
No, I was just solo. I had no idea what I was doing.
Oh, really?
And they're just how it worked out. It didn't happen to be a lot of training there. So, and I had done a lot of community work with Keller Williams at the time, and like the team leader there. Fortunately, she lost her battle to cancer several years ago. But I mean, people that are like, I was running for honorary mayor of Palm Harbor, and like just someone that's like has bells and whistles on, like rooting for me, and like they're like, "What are you doing? Why aren't you with us?" And I look at their training calendar. I'm like, if I'm going to do this, I want to do it right.
Sure.
So, and of course, then I was with KW for 9 years. Did you know, rookie of the year, all those kind of things there. Built a team over the years.
Nice. That was the Palm Harbor office.
Yeah.
I think that Jody Avery's out of that office, and Brandon Rhymes, and we've had a lot of those cats here. Yeah, absolutely.
So, and you know, so it was like great competition in a way throughout the office.
Yeah, very good office.
Yeah, a lot of successful.
Oh, Ty Bobby was there for a while, right?
He was. Yeah. Knew Bobby well. I knew Bobby a lot, you know, before he came there for several years.
Great guy. Yeah.
But so. And then I had building the team. Like I kept running into this where we would build up agents and train them, people who weren't in the business before, knew a little bit about it, or just getting back in, and we'd elevate their business. I mean, some of them are actually even real producers of you know, and are off, and they've gone off and done their own things, built their own teams, built 20, 30 plus $1 million businesses.
Yep.
And so I keep building these, and then I kept losing them.
Right.
Because they not only had our team split, they had a broker split too.
Yep.
So I'm like, what can I build where I can invest into the agents and them not want to leave?
Yep.
So that's what Ascend is about. You know, helping agents. We have some newer agents in the business. We have.
You just started Ascend 2 years ago?
A little over a year now.
Okay, so just over a year ago now. And that's, I know when we featured you, I guess, was right when you were starting it.
Just kicking off.
Gotcha.
Right? So, but it had been like, I had basically moved everyone from my team to the broker. So we were like a team converted to a brokerage.
Yep.
So then we're, so.
Let me ask you this. Yeah. When you started with KW, did you start team building right away? Was that something that happened years into it? How quickly did you start going down the team building route?
That I wish it had been sooner. So it was I didn't, again, not knowing anything in real estate. I'm running around with my realtor hat on, trying to do everything.
Yeah.
And then I was looking at my expenses with my coach, and my biggest expense was transaction coordinator at the time. And first I was doing them all. I was up till 3 a.m. Trying to do paperwork, which is not my forte. You know, it's just you know, I was better suited as my lane as the sales role.
Yeah.
And then having a really good admin then in that part. So I was kind of freelancing the transaction coordination. Then my first hire was an admin. So we got real specific. There's a book, Rocket Fuel, that it really helps kind of balance those the visionary and integrator of who's doing what.
Yep. We love shouting out books here. So, I mean, we rack up people's Amazon bills pretty good when they listen to this podcast.
Perfect. Yeah. So,
which I haven't read that one, but I've heard of it.
Rocket Fuel is great, especially for someone who's starting a team. And I actually we did the panel a couple weeks ago. I had the book in my bag and I didn't want to leave the panel to go get the book, but it helps really just, to stay in your lane to help. So then again, because most agents, they get to the point where like, oh, everyone else is building a team, so I want to build it, or I don't, so I might as well just bring on some agents. And it's not really necessarily the way to do it, because agents just create chaos. Yeah. And
for many people, they try to do it too quickly.
Yeah.
Or in some cases, they wait too long, and it's time to actually start trying to expand, because it's just finding that passion as to like, what's the real motivation for wanting to build the team, right? In the first place? Is it really just, if it's a money motivation, that's probably the wrong one. Always. At the end of the day.
Yep.
So I think it has to come from that element of like, you really want to share something and you feel like you have something to offer that's going to make a difference in people's lives.
Sure.
And so the team becomes a natural byproduct of that, right?
Right. So when the team has to be, in my opinion, or like the business has to be self-producing in general, because then like if I was able to pass off leads, and it becomes about the agents and the people that you're working for in your organization, just like any other business. Like if their needs aren't met, then they're going to be looking for a different opportunity. So if there's not enough leads around, you don't have a good foundation of the business, I mean, it's just like going to keep turning it over. And, I've done it the wrong way, every single way you could think of it. Mm-hmm. Even with the brokerage, like just try, if you have something new, in my opinion, if advice to a new agent or something like that, it's, just go for it, take action, and then adjust. Like always be aware of everything that you're doing. And if you need to just make a slight adjustment, or I've had to burn like the brokerage to the ground twice of like, I thought we had the best system in place, the best CRM, and like everybody then hated it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, dang it. So we pulled that out, got it back in, but like just being willing to do that, just not stopping, like when something doesn't work out.
Yeah.
And I think, so maybe agents get frustrated with that, single agents when they first get into business.
Did you find that your team had a fairly consistent element of growth over the decade that you were with KW there building that team? Or was it very roller coaster up and down years? Or like what was the peak year that you can remember, best year that you experienced, and the size of the team, and how did that shake out?
Yeah, so it was probably about 2 years after I started the team, because again, when you're first learning, you're learning how do I write contracts? How do I sell a house? How do I have a good open house? How do I do those things? And then your next learning curve is, okay, now how do I make a really efficient process so I can provide great service? Because it's all about service.
Yep.
And then becomes to, okay, once I get there, now I want more business, so how do I scale? And then it's, okay, well, usually that's hiring. So now I need to learn how to hire if you haven't like hired before. So learning, and then like the process there, like I was doing interviews with my assistant, interviewing agents. We were getting, probably 80 candidates a month at one time.
Wow.
And so we would pick the top ones, and then I would be having an hour conversation with every single one. We both would be. And I realized half of them we wouldn't hire. So I'm just wasting all those hours doing it. So then we got real specific on our process of hiring. We would do a call interview, a video interview. Then they got to me at that point. Mm-hmm. Once we got really efficient, then our talent we get real clear on what we were looking for. Then I had a phenomenal talent on our team. And then that's really where we started to really take off.
That's huge. Yeah. How do you think you were, number one, generating so much interest? So you said 80 applicants a month. I think there are some people I've talked to who want to build a team, and they seem to struggle with even getting that much interest in candidates, sure, that are coming to them, right? So I don't know if this was an outbound marketing campaign that you had going on that was that let people know that you're building, and obviously people knew, of course, like, which I think in your background, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So you had something happening there that was creating enough awareness that, listen, we're recruiting, we're a place to be, and you're probably going to want to apply for this.
Yep.
I think it comes from a place which is smart, that once you've figured that out and you have all these leads coming in, then it's about how do I be more efficient with my time? And like you said, build the system so I can make sure I'm getting the quality people and knowing exactly what your process is to make that happen. But can you talk a little bit more about how you set that up and what went into this like awareness machine first, and then eventually narrowing down what makes a great candidate in your eyes as far as your team goes?
Sure. Well, first it's getting clear on our values and what we're about. And then, you know, unfortunately I've had to fire some really good agents because their values didn't necessarily fit what we were looking for. They were like some conduct detrimental to the team. Yeah. Right. So it's tough. And they've gone on to other teams and they've sold a lot of properties, but we just weren't willing to risk that. So getting clear on what, you know, like our mission for Ascend is serving the community through real estate. So we love to be able to help people residential get their dream home investment, you know, make money through if commercial, find their office where they can thrive in their business. So, you know, we can make that happen through real estate, right? So now, you know, we really focus on personal growth. Hence why we have, we don't call it the book club, we call it the growth club. So we're just slightly above nerdy, but the, yeah, so all of our books and everything we talk about is on our personal growth, because we know our business will grow to the extent that we do. Yep. So, you know, and so we're looking for like learning-based people, and people are committed to it. They don't necessarily have to be full-time. There's kind of a fit for everybody, but it's just like any team sport, right? There's everyone has their roles, right? So,
how many people do you have on your team now?
We have 11 right now.
And how's that compared to what you've experienced? Is that pretty much the size that is a sweet spot? Have you had much larger teams than that?
That's about where, when we were maxed out, that's what we were doing. I mean, we were at KW, I think we were 4th in the region, in Florida for our listings sold. That was in 2020. So we were just hammering out, you know, really listings in size. So like, to be honest, we're going to double that, here probably by the end of the year. We'll have 25 agents by the end of the year.
Is that the goal?
Yeah. So, cool. And we're on pace to do that, because now we've just, again, so we've boosted out, now we're recruiting. So we have a consistent lead flow that is servicing our agents. So, because we're actually, you know, we give leads to our realtors.
Do you still individually produce or no?
Mainly commercial. So like most of the agents in our brokerage are residential. Yep. So I'm handling the commercial stuff right now, and
makes sense.
A lot of that to keep me busy.
Yeah, because I know, like, when we look at the MLS, I know that your numbers aren't really shown there accurately. I think when I looked at it, it was like, 8 million or so last year. This was just under your name, I believe, with 26 transactions is what it showed on there. But I think your people are probably self-reporting as well through the MLS. And
yeah, so they don't even report under me.
Right.
Anymore.
So they're all, exactly.
They're all like individually.
So those numbers are really just what you did. Individually, not your team, or not a reflection of the organization. Do you want to throw out there what the team did last year?
Oh yeah, we did over 35 million in total. So I mean, I did more than that in commercial alone. A lot of the commercial stuff doesn't even go into the MLS. So.
I actually just listened to I was on a commercial webinar for the last 2 days, so I'd love to pick your brain more about that. Yeah. I think that would be interesting.
Well, you know, I'm looking at like it came up on like Ford's, you know, billionaires, and I'm looking at all these different types of companies, and anyone who's in real estate is like commercial development on that list. And I was like, okay, there's something here.
There's definitely something there. No doubt. Yeah. What type of commercial niche do you love, or is it?
Ironically, I ended up getting a car dealership listing. A person called me and said, hey, they were interested in a building we had. It was already under contract. Like, hey, call in this property for me. It's vacant. I own a car dealership. I want to, and I tracked the guy down in California, the seller and the owner of it, and took the listing. Yeah. And then you couldn't believe how many calls I've gotten for car dealerships. So I'm looking for people all over the state now, for car dealerships, and where people buying, selling them. I know almost where every single one is. Wow. That's available out there. And it's like this weird niche that I came into. Yeah. I'm dealing with a lot of used car salesmen. However, it's that's like the biggest challenge around it. But it's just interesting of how these things work. And they want quick interactions, those kind of things. So, yeah. I have some friends who have done really, really well with mobile home parks, self-storage facilities.
And also just apartment buildings, like 5-unit or larger apartment buildings. And so I'm definitely even personally interested in working in those spaces to try to build up my, portfolio.
Well, everything you said was cash flow. So if that's like, a target for you, those are some of the best.
And car dealerships, I haven't even looked into that space, but does that fit into the cash flow mold or no?
Not necessarily.
Not as much. It's more of an appreciation buy.
Yeah. So, but some of them have shut down. With some of the banks closing and whatnot, and some of the subprime car lender people, so they buy here, pay here,
right?
So they've been closing down, in multiple of them. So people are coming up, and they're good properties, and people are wanting them.
Are they converting them to something else, or just keeping them as car dealerships?
A lot of them are keeping them car dealerships, but there's also like national car rental companies calling all the time to get that space because they're all kind of similar.
Yeah, that makes sense. I have another friend who just buys a lot of car washes and laundromats. That's his thing. He loves laundromats and car washes. And I've been picking his brain a little bit, learning some things from him. I don't know if you've ever dealt anything in those spaces, but I mean, I love the businesses that are just cash cow machines and that you can have an operator in place, or in some cases, like a car wash, you don't even really need an operator.
Right.
And especially nowadays.
And that's about the memberships too. If you get a target number of memberships, and then that's an easily sellable business too. Yeah. Once you get it to a certain level, there's people out there looking for, if you get that level of memberships, they'll buy it from you.
Yeah, no doubt.
Then
makes a lot of sense.
Turn that money in something else.
That's awesome. So your brokerage, now, I guess, do you represent the commercial division for Ascend Realty? Okay.
I do.
And is the plan to even build that out and have some other agents that are going to specialize in that?
I'm needing help now. So we've been putting out, our lead gen for recruiting has been mainly residential. It's just like in general, right? There's more residential agents out there.
Sure.
But yeah, it's getting to the point where I'm needing help with the commercial side, the commercial division now. So, and I'm having a ton of leads now for the commercial division that we build out. So then it's going to get to the point where, again, just kind of like a, leader of a team or whatever, it comes to the point where I need to service the agents at a high level. Mm-hmm. So people running around to properties and things like that, I'm not going to be able to do anymore. Yeah,
no, it makes sense. Tell us a little bit more about how you think, like I said earlier, I felt like when I went to the event with your team, there was a very strong culture there. Like I can tell that they liked each other. Yeah. There was an energy with that. They had an utmost respect for you, and all of them I was trying to find the dirt around you, and I couldn't find any dirt, man. It was like they all had good things to say about you and what you represented and why they work with you and all that stuff. So I just think you've done something really well there. And I'd love to hear more about, you mentioned core values and identifying that and making sure you're bringing people on that are aligned with those values. Are there any other best practices that you feel like have really helped you build a culture within your organization that is thriving and that people want to be a part of, and obviously is also producing at the same time? Any other thoughts come to mind as to how you would help somebody who maybe wants to build a team and is trying to learn how to do it the Jordan Myers way?
Similar way, yeah. So one, it's thinking about it, every day. Ultimately, number one, I'm a servant. Serve the community. I'm here to serve the community. So if I can do that through real estate, great. If I can do that through helping other people do that, so we're just doing a volunteer beach cleanup, right? So it's kind of fun for everybody to do, and
the whole team gets involved with something like that. I'm going to say they don't have to, but they have the option.
So I'm asking them too. Like we literally just had a issue. Like, hey, what do we want to do? So I'm not like, you're going to show up here at a habitat builder, and we're going to build this habitat house. I mean, a lot of people will. Yeah. But some of them are like, hey, let's do this. I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah. It's more of a collaborative effort. So I've got the buy-in, right? But then, so we do we've done for several years we call it an annual give back. I donate all the commission from the sale of a house to a local Tampa Bay area nonprofit. So we get, we've had up to 200 involved, and I would love for you guys to get involved too for our next one.
That's cool.
So we get they all they get their people involved. People vote for the nonprofit who should get all of our commission, and then whoever has. So it's like a great outreach for every single nonprofit that's involved. And then too, it's a way where we can like interact and, even nonprofits interact with each other, and really where we can find.
So just say you had 200 nonprofits involved?
We had 200 nonprofits involved.
That's awesome.
180,000 votes. It was pretty. We did it over a couple week period.
Wow.
But then too, so it's all based around we have an annual give back house, and so we say, okay, we designate the house. All the commission here is going to a charity. We let the seller know. Then we want the general, for business purposes, the community to see us in our element.
Yeah.
So we have a grand open house where we invite all the nonprofits. They get extra votes by coming. We let the neighborhood know. So we had, I think, 250 people at our open house. So we could say we had maybe one of the largest open houses in the area, right?
Yeah.
So and then we get vendors involved too that want to sponsor it and of course be a part of it. And then everyone knows it's for a good cause. And then so they get to meet nonprofits that they may have not known about in the area, and get to meet the directors and the people, the heads of the social media and all this kind of thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then they get to reach out to we had Big Cat Rescue was one of the recipients one year, and they had people from Australia like sharing our stuff. It's like, so it's kind of cool.
Was the Tiger King there?
I have no idea at the time, but you may have been. But and it's just like some of the reach was outstanding of how it happened. So. It's just something we're going to do.
It's cool though, because I mean, obviously, it creates a culture within your organization where people feel like real estate is a tool that they're using to really make a difference, right, in the community. And I can see why people would be attracted to that, right? Because it's one thing to just go do your job because you have to make money, and because everyone does, of course. Right. But it's another thing if you can make even more money because you're doing good, to the community. So it sounds like you guys are very intentional about wanting to. That's something you do annually. It just sounds like you just said. So that makes sense. You mentioned earlier you think you'll get to 25 agents by the end of the year. Mm-hmm. Where are you finding your best agents from? Is it just from the current team, or do you have outbound marketing still that's recruiting, or how does that work?
Yeah. So some of our best referrals are agents on the team of other agents they've worked with or know, and they're like, I was talking to this agent. They're a little frustrated on this and that. We'll have those conversations with them, and especially if their values already our agents align with us. Sure. Likely that agent does too.
No doubt.
Now, of course, we can. I've had some great conversations with agents who, that we got through our prospecting marketing as well, our recruiting processes. But So and some are fit, some are not, and that's totally okay if they're not. There's something out there for everybody.
Yep.
So it's just. I want to find out, I feel like I know everything about the agents that are there and what they're trying to accomplish. Because again, it's not about selling real estate. It's about what they want to do. Our business funds the perfect life. So I want to find out what they're trying to accomplish, what it looks like for their family. If they don't want to work weekends, they don't have to. Mm-hmm. My first year in the business, my wife worked at a hospital, 10-hour days. So I couldn't work a Sunday my first year in the business. Everyone's like, well, you have to have open houses on Sundays. Like, well, I couldn't. So I had to have 2 on Saturdays and 1 on Friday night. I couldn't show property Sunday, so like you just find a way to make it work. And so whatever the agents want and are trying to accomplish, I mean, that's what mainly our coaching calls are about. There's something touched on that every single time. Start with why, we're always reminding them of why they're doing what they're doing. And what's the big picture? Because we're all on our tombstone some days, like, well, it was a great realtor. Like,
right.
No one ever wants
Gotta be
that.
something more than that.
Yeah. So
how often, you said you do these growth, you don't call them book clubs, your growth clubs. That's a weekly thing?
We do it Tuesday and Thursdays.
Okay.
You're more than welcome to join too. Yeah. The 9 a.m.
Hey, man, I'm all about that type of stuff, dude. I got some books to throw out there for sure.
Yeah. So now we're trying to move through the books quicker, just so we can cover more. Like, even if you read a book a month,
are these part of your team meetings?
No, these are separate that we're just, and some of the talk's real estate, some of it's about life, some of it's about, but it's all based around, like Simon Sinek, like, some of the best minds out there, and what they're doing and how to apply it to our lives every day.
No doubt. I love it, man.
That's
great.
Like, so
again,
that's
that builds culture too.
So that's just an example of one of the things we do.
Yeah. I love it.
We get together. We've gone to a couple Rays games already, they're my people. So.
I'm assuming part of the culture too is making sure people are producing, right? So you have certain KPIs, I would imagine, that matter and that are communicated to the team.
Yep.
Whether that's gone over publicly during your weekly team meetings or however your normal process is. I'm assuming there's some sort of individual accountability that's also part of that after, whether it be a group meeting.
Yep.
So share a little bit about your viewpoint on like, what are the KPIs that are most critical for you that you want to track, that you want your team to care about? And how do you make sure that those things are moving in the right direction? How do you grow in those particular areas? And what do you do if someone doesn't hit them?
Yeah, so it's pretty simple. We have we offer leads to the agents, but they sign an agreement of what it takes to get a lead, and usually that's all around the activities, right? So I don't base it around that you get 3 closings a month or something like, so that's an end result.
That's an end result.
But
yeah.
if they're doing the activities, then the lead flow stays on. They stop doing those things. It could be whatever, hosting or attending one event. It's like pretty simple, like attending one networking event a month. Like if they're not willing to go out and do that, they're just like sitting around waiting for leads kind of thing. That's just, yeah. And again, it's not to just do that, but it's to help them get out of their comfort zone a little too. So I'm kind of, edging them there too. But so in other things, whatever, open houses or whatever it may be, of course they have to then, if a lead comes in, contact it within a certain amount of time frame. And our CRM tracking system tells us that of when it is. So
do you have an expectation on self-gen leads, on how many they should be contributing to the team or adding into their own pipeline?
Yeah, so that's I'm 100%. We're huge on goals. If there's nothing you're working towards, then you're just waking up every day not even having any direction.
For sure.
So, and it's so simple. Even the simplest goal you can have is to find 1 lead a day. And 1 lead a day is just someone that we identify a lead as someone who has told us they're willing to buy or sell real estate in the next 12 months. If you can find that every day, no matter how you want to do it, I don't care how you do it. If you want to do it social media, if you want to go to an event, if you want to prospect for 3 hours a day, call, expires Facebook, whatever you want to do. I don't care, just like, I'm going to hold you accountable to that goal of the activity of doing that kind of thing. And then, so, if they have a lead goal, we know that on general, they're going to get X amount of leads from us. And then they're responsible for the coverage, the difference.
So they have to be accountable to those numbers, and publicly I take as part of your meetings.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then like,
it's no hide now, huh?
Yeah. Like a guy right now, he had to have 7 leads this week, or we have a call tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. If he doesn't, he's going live on Facebook doing 20 push-ups.
Oh boy.
Saying why he didn't do it. Right. So like, there's got to be,
there's public shaming as part of the culture too, huh?
But then too, you can always have fun with that too. But, it's, then he's like, help me out here. I don't want to do any more push-ups. So, yeah, so it's just even those little things, but then it's always top of mind when we have that. So I used to have work with a coaching business. I would charge between $500 and $1,000 a month for real estate coaching. But now all of our agents, they get me that same half-hour week time frame, at no additional cost. So I'm still doing that same coaching with them, and it seems to be working. Like again, we've raised $20-30 million producers in the past. So I'm looking to continue to do that. Anyone who wants to do that, like that's like what we're Ascend. Like we don't settle, ascend. We're looking to ascend your business to the next level is what we're about.
Yeah, I love it. Have you found since you started Ascend, is that solving the I'm developing these people and they're leaving problem that you described earlier? Or is there something that's keeping them within the organization? Is there a next level within Ascend that you think is helpful from the retention standpoint?
Yeah, anyone who's like full-time and is producing like that on that level hasn't left. So far it's working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So some people come and go for whatever reasons, or get out of the business, or get like great job offers, and real estate may not have been their passion. It was just a way to supplement their income at a time. So
Sure.
Everybody's different.
Yeah.
But people who are fully involved with it, and I ask them up front on a scale of 0 to 10, how accountable do you want me to hold you? And they're like, well, 9. Okay, well, this is what it takes on a 9.
9.
Yeah.
I almost want to be a 10, but
right.
Give me some slack, right?
Or if it's 10, it's like, okay, I want you to text me. You're texting me every single night. of what you whatever your goal is, one lead and one appointment a day. And so it's like 1 and 1 or 0 and 2 or 2, 3 and 1 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it's just like they know, and I don't, I'm not like they're micromanaging them, but it's just having that look over your shoulder, like, always helped me get into production.
Totally.
And like
a lot of people have a negative perception when it comes to accountability, but it's one of the most important things that anybody can ever have if they're going to be truly successful. And
once you
most
have it,
people aren't
you
disciplined
can't live
enough to
without
do it themselves.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
there's a great book called The 7 Disciplines of Execution. It sounds like you might have read it because it ties into the whole lead and lag measures thing that you discussed earlier.
Yep.
And it talks a lot actually in that book about how important some element of accountability has to be a part of your business plan, right? Whether that's through a coach or through something, something has to be set up that's going to be an accountability element, because we're just humans that it's too easy to fail when we're not having that in place. And so that's what a great coach does, really, at the end of the day.
Yeah, and then sometimes too, I can help them like find really what their niche is. Of sometimes it, like even in real estate or without. Like, Don, have you ever had like something where you thought you were going down a direction and then something just pulled you completely in another direction? Like, wow, I can actually succeed in this.
Yep.
Like I don't know, maybe real producer. I don't know,
Yeah. This wasn't my vision initially, but I've just kind of worked itself out. Yeah, no doubt.
Does it seem like it's like a natural kind of thing, or?
For me, I love real estate. So I've always loved, I'm not an agent, as you know, I'm not a licensed agent. So for me, it was always about investing in real estate. And when I started up the Snell Isle and Tierra Verde franchises through the parent company, I've always found that I connected with the real estate agents more than any other client that I had. Yeah. And so that when real producers became an option within that franchise, it was a bit of a no-brainer for me to at least pursue it. But for me, I'd never really thought I would even be in that franchise to begin with. That's a whole other story that we'll have to have me interviewed on for another episode.
Yeah, we can turn that into it.
Yeah, exactly. But I still, to this day, and this is why I was talking about commercial earlier, like I still feel like real estate investment on the commercial side specifically is really something that I'm passionate about, because I see the freedom in that. I see the opportunity to build the lifestyle that I want for my family. I have 5 kids. I want to be able to spend time with them. I want to have that financial freedom. I just read a book myself called Buy Back Your Time. Another great book I'd recommend to your team and your growth club. Okay. And it's just all about passive income, but doing it like in a way, I kind of believe passive income is a myth, because all passive income requires some work to get it set up properly. But this Buy Back Your Time book is really about building the lifestyle that I think many of us desire and want, and utilizing your opportunities to do that. So that's why real estate still is appealing to me to this day.
Right. Yeah. And then it's just kind of, talking to an advisor, like, someone who's like in it, looking at commercial investments every single day, and like, okay, it's very simple. It's very simple to do. Yep. And then you can, just build, even if it's not like a home run right away, but it's a building there to get you to that next point. And it may only be like 2 or 3 properties away from you having that exactly what you want.
Yeah. One of the things I love about commercial is it could be one property.
Totally.
Just one deal could change your life, Yep. One apartment building, one whatever.
Yeah. I know of an off-market one too.
Let's chat.
Yeah. It's going to be good for whoever gets it.
All right. Well, we'll have to talk offline. That sounds good. All right. Let's talk a little bit more too about you personally, so that people get to know you a little bit more about you. You said you're married, right? How long have you been married now?
Oh shit.
She's not gonna watch. Don't worry. She already knows your story.
Yeah. It'll be 14 years. So my wife, she has her own business, boutique business, and she kills it. She was.
What kind of business?
It's a boutique. She was
like a retail shop.
Yeah, she was with LuLaRoe. She started with that. She was she worked for a hospital, like I mentioned, and then she's like one day, she's like, I'm thinking about starting this business. I was like, really? And then she like killed. She was one of the top 100 people in this major company at the time. And then broke off and does it herself, and has been doing it ever since. And
she's got the entrepreneurship itch too, huh?
Yeah, she does. And she's like, people love her. She's great. Great. It goes like live multiple times a day. I don't know how she does it, but it's just and she does really well with it.
Do you guys have kids?
3 kids, 8, 10, and 12, all in sports. We like just ended, so now we're like take a deep breath here.
That's cool. But, boys, girls.
Girl, and my little guy is 8. So
are you coach on these teams?
Yeah. Well, I coach Little League baseball. Well, we just ended, but I know my middle daughter plays soccer. I don't know a lot about soccer. My oldest cheers competitively. I know nothing about cheer, but I'm cheer dad, so
there you go. That's cool.
Support. Yeah, but she's getting like they're all so talented in their own ways and whatnot. And there's nothing I love more than that. So
I can relate. Yeah, I just got done coaching my boys' baseball team as well.
Nice.
That was my passion. I'm a big baseball fan. Played baseball most of my life. Walked on at UT, actually.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
It was funny you mentioned earlier about USF, how everyone's from Tampa. I had a completely separate experience at UT because everyone was I'm from Connecticut, and it seemed like everybody was from the Northeast that were at University of Tampa. They recruit well up there.
That's where I first got accepted, was University of Tampa. For some reason, I thought D1 would be better. So
they got quite a baseball program there.
Made a bad move. Well, because then I would have been a junior and UT won the
national title.
Yeah.
So, they got quite a history of that.
Yeah,
for sure. I wasn't good enough to actually like play at all, really. I walked on and I was always fast, so they did put me on the team in case there was like a stolen base needed in a clutch moment or something, or I was like a backup middle infielder. But eventually I got to a point where it was kind of a full-time job to play ball there, because even though they're D3, they treat it very seriously. And I had to start working and making some money, so I didn't even do it for all my years there. But it was fun. I miss it. And now I'm playing adult softball at church leagues and stuff, you know? So it is what it is. It is what it is. What do you guys like to do for fun as a family?
Travel, boat, those kind of, those things. We're school ends next week.
You live in Palm Harbor still?
Safety Harbor.
Safety Harbor. Okay.
Yeah, but school ends next Thursday. We're taking the kids on a surprise cruise right here out of Tampa. So we're picking them up from school.
Nice.
And just heading right to the port of Tampa here.
It's not a surprise anymore, but no.
They
won't have it by next Thursday. It's all good.
They won't see it, but
that'll be fun for a week.
Just through Memorial Day kind of thing. So yeah, we just we're gonna travel all summer.
Nice.
We got family here, Connecticut, Illinois, all over the country. So it's just
very cool.
Yeah. So
where are you traveling to?
Both of those cities. My wife wanted Morgan Wallen tickets for. I
don't even know who that is.
Mother's Day. Country guy. I think he just played here or was supposed to play here or something. But
gotcha.
We're going to Wrigley Field. I got our seats like right in front of the stage. So,
that's cool.
Yeah, we're gonna go there. Do
you have a favorite ballpark that you visited?
I mean, I'm from outside Chicago there, so Wrigley's not the same maybe as what it used to be, but it's still a great park.
Still iconic, right?
Oh yeah.
I've only been to one game there, but it was awesome.
Yeah.
The Cubs were horrible that season, but I was able to get like amazing seats.
Yeah. So yeah, we and real estate got me that opportunity when the Cubs went to the World Series. That it was Game 5 there. Hadn't won a World Series game there in 54 years, and I called my dad. I'm like, Dad, I want to go. You want to go? He's like, we can't go. The tickets are whatever. I'm like, oh well, let's make it happen.
Yeah.
So we went there, and it was like, the only game I've ever been to where everyone was standing the entire game in a baseball game.
Right.
And they won, and then won the World Series. It was
that's cool.
Yeah, we'll never forget that. So like, again, it's not about real estate. It's like what you can, like the life you want to live with.
Experiences, right?
Yeah.
It's really what I tell my kids that all the time too. Life is really about the moments and the experiences that you can create with your loved ones and your family. And that's what you don't forget, much more than buying stuff.
Right. So that's like, well, when our agents, when we do our goal planning for the year, we're putting their vacations, everything on the schedule first, because the money will always show up for any vacation, especially as it leads up to it. Like, shoot, it's a 15th protocol. I'm going on a cruise next month. I need to get 2 things under contract right now.
Yep.
So, and they will. It like works that way every time.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
Robert Kiyosaki talks a lot about when he wants something, maybe it's even a trip or a Porsche or whatever. It's about what am I going to do in my business to afford that, right? Like, so am I going to buy this property? That's my Porsche property, right? This is my trip around the world property, like whatever it is, just tying it into production. I think that makes a lot of sense. I got 2 recommendations for you that I was thinking about as you were talking about these different dreams really that your team might have. It seems like you do a good job of trying to flush those dreams out and fulfilling them for your people. There's a great book out there called The Dream Manager. Have you ever read that?
No.
It would be a great thing for your growth club.
All right.
Just to talk
Maybe you
about.
can facilitate it.
It's a great book to talk about how to create a culture within a team of people pursuing their dreams, right? Sure. And then there's one that is a piggyback to that, which a good friend of mine actually wrote. It's called The Dream Machine. And he was motivated by the Dream Manager book, and he ended up incorporating that into his sales organization, and he became one of the top sales guys in Cutco, which is my background, the knife company. He's still there to this day, but he wrote this book on how he did it, and it's like a kind of like a workshop manual on what he does. He travels around the country now running these dream workshops, and it's called the Dream Machine. So your team would eat that stuff up, man, from what I can pick up from what your culture is all about.
Sure. And then it's just just stay in a strong mindset every day, and I don't know. I think you're a big Tony Robbins guy, right?
Yeah.
So
attended a lot of his stuff.
Yeah. I mean, like, how have you like applied that to like similar ways?
Yeah, no doubt. In a lot of different ways. I mean, a lot of his stuff is personal too, as far as health and investments and stuff of that nature. But from a business side of things, I did go to his business mastery years ago. And it was 2019. And there's just automation, optimization, how to be able to leverage and scale development, empowerment of people, kind of like the who, not how mentality of always trying to get the right person on the bus and figuring out who that is. Like you were talking about core values. A lot of that is stuff Tony preaches, and taking a lot of that and put it to work in my business life.
Nice.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, it all kind of makes sense, right? So then we're all here trying to do the same thing every day, right? So, and then, the fulfilling part is helping people do that. At least for me, it's just, and then now it's like, okay, well, why aren't we helping more people do that? So then it's like, okay, if that's really the passion, like let's boost this out and see how many people we can help. Yeah,
I love it. Makes a lot of sense. I think team building is something that I am passionate about as well. For many, that was my background with the Cutco business too. We're going to have a couple rapid fire questions, just a little bit more again about you.
All right.
One is, I know we talked a lot about books and clubs and growth and stuff. So is there a favorite, book or author, or maybe even a seminar that you've attended that you feel like has made a huge impact?
Sure. Intentional Living by John Maxwell is one of my favorite books.
I love John. Yeah.
Atomic Habits, James Clear. That's really that got me on the action and adjust, like literally on everything we're doing. Because everything happens slowly, suddenly, and even if you don't catch it before it could be too bad, or all of a sudden you feel like you're not getting results, and all of a sudden you do. Anything, Tony Robbins, just like little stuff there, here and there. Simon Sinek's always, positive stuff. Some
great YouTube content.
Yeah, and our growth club is really based around a lot of those things. So again, just having any conversations based around it.
Cool. Favorite food?
Pizza, I guess.
Pizza guy. All right.
Well, I'm on like this keto.
So if someone wants to get on your good side, they could just send you a nice, big pepperoni pizza, and you're good, huh?
It's too easy. I'm like been this like Caesar salad thing lately. I'm just trying to be healthy.
Total opposite of pizza.
I know, but so you can get like a little salad. So I'm like half responsible and half
a little cup of Caesar and a big old extra large pepperoni. We're good to go.
Perfect.
And you mentioned a couple of your favorite vacations and stuff. You mentioned also all these different charities. I'm always curious, is there one particular organization that either you personally have been involved with, or that you feel like your team has been? Any one particular that stands out?
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm a Copperhead Charities. We put on the Valspar tournament every year. That's really important to us. A good friend of mine is the CEO of Habitat for Humanity of Pinellas and West Pasco, and so we're one of their preferred realtors. We help them find property so they can build their habitat homes on.
Awesome.
Chichi Rodriguez Foundation. I feel like I should have like an Oscar speech and like all the I'm not thanking all of them. Like I'm sorry if I'm not. But
we got 200. It's a long list.
Yeah. So I mean, there's just so many great people that are involved, and then you really see their true passion too of why they're doing some of these things out there, how they're helping the community, and like you want to give to everybody. Sometimes you can't all the time, but so those are just a couple in particular that are really close to us.
Cool, bro. I got two last questions for you. One is what I call the legacy question. So when you think about the fact that at some point we're all going to probably come to an end, right, in this world, and generally I think most people want our lives to mean something. So when you think about what you want to be known for when your time comes to an end, what comes to mind for you?
Just that they always, anyone knew that they could count on me at any time, and I was there for them any time of need whatever need it was. that I was always there for them and they could count on me. So that's just the simplest thing. So someone like, yeah, you know what? Like, man, I could really always count on that person. They were always honest with me, and I knew I could go to them with any advice or anything like that, and they'd shoot me straight and do everything they could to help.
That's cool. The Bible says that there's nothing more precious than a good friend, more precious than gold. So I think what you just described would be the characteristic of a good friend, right? Being reliable and knowing that you can go to somebody when you have that time of need. Yep. Anybody in our audience, whether you're an agent who wants to maybe think about a team to grow, hopefully you got a good feel of Jordan and his team today as we talked about his culture and how he's built his team. How could somebody reach out to you, Jordan, if they want to chat about, pick your brain on what your experiences have been or talk to you about your organization? What's the best way to reach you?
Probably cell phone, 813-810-0015. My email is jordanmyersrealestate@gmail.com. Our website is AscendRG, as in Realty Group, AscendRG.com. We're on all social media platforms. Attend Don's events a lot, so we could probably see you out there. Always willing to have a conversation, and I'll help anybody at any time.
Cool. We'll throw some of that contact information on the screen. But we're checking out here for today. And what we always try to end each episode with is, what is one action step that you can take after listening to this podcast that can help you grow your business or grow yourself personally? Maybe it's a book that you heard us chat about. Maybe it's, hey, you know what? I'm a team leader and I need to implement something that Jordan mentioned about core values into my team. Or maybe it's adding a growth club into your organization. What is it that you can do? What's one thing, just one action step that's going to take your business or your personal life to the next level? We'll check you out on the next episode of Tampa Bay Real Producers. Stay classy.